do something for me? It's really important.
What's wrong, Jordan? Is everything okay?
I need you to postpone your wedding. You have to do this for me no matter what, okay? I'm asking you as your oldest childhood friend, so you'll cooperate with me, right?
What? Are you serious?
Of course I'm serious! Hurry up and contact the wedding facility right now. Tell them you can't go through with it or something. Just make something up.
Jordan, what on earth is going on? Why do you want me to postpone my wedding? It's happening next week, you know. I've been preparing for months already.
I don't care. I'm telling you you need to cancel it no matter what.
Can you at least explain why?
My wedding got canceled, right? So it's unfair to me if you're the only one who gets married this time. We've always done everything together ever since we were kids. So you can't go ahead and get married if I'm not getting married. Don't you agree? That's why I'm telling you to postpone the ceremony. Do it for me.
Hold on. Wait a minute. Since when did your wedding get canceled? What happened?
Yeah, I only just found out. Rob just suddenly told me he couldn't marry me after all. Can you believe that? We're splitting up now. The whole thing is a disaster.
What? That's so sudden. What on earth happened? Just the other day, you were insistent that you were going to have a spectacular wedding ceremony, right?
I couldn't have the ceremony the way I wanted because all my friends refused. And then my fiancé said that we wouldn't be able to get married in this situation. So I ended up getting dumped not just by my fiancé, but by my friends as well.
Huh? What do you mean all your friends refused? Refused what?
I was gonna get help from my friends like you and get the whole ceremony done cheaply. I asked all my friends to do the wedding services for me. The hair and makeup, the patisserie, the cameraman, the nail artist, the florist, and so on. But you know what? They all said they couldn't do it for free and turned me down. Can you believe that? I complained to Rob about it, and he got mad at me for being so unreasonable or something like that. Then we had a big fight about it and broke up. So the whole thing has been canceled.
I see. Wow. So that's what happened. Sounds rough.
Why do I have to go through something so horrible? How come you're able to get your friends to do everything for you at the wedding ceremony, but when I try to do the same thing, it turns into a catastrophe? It's not fair.
Well, in Dan and I's case, we're relying on our friends too, but we're not looking for a low-cost solution. Personally, I'd rather ask someone I know and trust than a contractor I don't know. If anything, I'm paying my friends more for their services because I know I can trust them.
Huh? Are you serious?
Thanks to that, everyone has been very cooperative and all the preparations are going well. We're going to have the wedding next month as planned, and we're not going to cancel it.
No, you can't do this. You have to postpone it. You can't get married with your best friend in this horrible situation. Think about my feelings.
Think about my feelings. Dan and I have been planning this for over a year. Why should I have to cancel my own wedding on your account just because we're friends? I'm sorry to hear that it didn't work out with you and Rob, but that has nothing to do with my relationship.
Shut up! Don't talk back! You just have to listen to me like you always do. I'm not asking you to do this for me, Lena. I'm telling you. I'm your oldest friend, okay? You have no right to refuse me.
I met your childhood friend today. She's a really nice person. I can tell she cares a lot about you. Talking to her was really fun.
Wait, what? You heard from Jordan?
Yeah, she actually contacted me out of the blue yesterday. She told me I won't let Lena get married without my approval, or something like that. That's why I took time out of my schedule and went to see her after work to get her blessing to marry you.
You mean you actually met her in person? You've got to be kidding me, right? So it was just the two of you alone?
Because she stubbornly refused to accept the marriage and told me to break up with you. So I decided I should at least meet her in person and talk with her.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I wanted her to approve of me as your soon-to-be husband. I mean, from her perspective, she has no idea what kind of person I am, right? So I can understand why she might be uneasy about you marrying some guy she's never met. I think she just cares a lot about you, that's all.
Okay then. And what did she say when you guys met?
She approves of us. It was kind of like taking a job interview, actually. She asked me so many questions about myself, but it was kind of fun.
Oh, jeez. What kind of questions?
Like, how old are you? What did you study in school? Where did you grow up? What do you do for work? And so on and so forth. Oh, and she also asked me about whether I was ready to get married and stuff like that. She asked me stuff like, what would you do if this happens? What would you do if that happened? It was pretty tiring.
Man, it really does sound like a job interview. I'm sorry about her. She can be so overbearing.
Yeah, but I answered all of her questions as honestly and as upfront as possible. And then finally, at the end, she gave me her blessing as your future husband. She said she thought I was a wonderful man and that she was jealous of you. She even joked that I should marry her instead. So I guess I must have passed her evaluation with flying colors.
That last bit sounds like a red flag if you ask me. Dan, listen, can you delete her contact information right now? And also make sure you and Jordan don't see each other alone from now on.
What? Why? We were just getting to know each other.
Trust me, she's not doing any of this out of compassion for me. She just wants to put a stop to our wedding, that's all.
Huh? Why would she want something like that?
Well, actually, Jordan was also supposed to be getting married in a few months. But she ran into a lot of problems along the way, and in the end, the whole thing got canceled. Then she told me to think about her feelings and cancel my own wedding in solidarity.
Are you serious? That is nuts.
Yeah, I know. Of course, I refused to do as she said. But I think she contacted you because she wasn't satisfied with that outcome. You're just misunderstanding that she's doing it out of some sense of compassion for me. Trust me, I've known her ever since we were kids. She only ever thinks about herself.
I see. You really think so? But she approved of our wedding in the end, you know? And anyway, I'm not sure if there's anyone in this world that selfish.
There is, and it's her. Dan, I know what she's like. You have to believe me. You've been blessed with good friends throughout your life, so you probably don't know. There are a certain number of people in this world pretending to make friends, but they're really just trying to drag other people down to their level. And besides, she has a precedent of this kind of behavior.
She does? What happened?
We went to the same piano class a long time ago, and both of us decided to participate in a recital one time. But Jordan caught a cold, and she had to be absent that day. She forced me to be absent by telling me to take the day off because she couldn't attend. She even tore up my dress and all my sheet music for the recital.
Oh, that is insane. I had no idea she was like that.
Exactly. I can't imagine someone like that is going to back down in this situation without trying something. So please, don't have anything to do with her from now on.
Okay, you got it. Also, let's think about some other measures just in case. How about we ask the ceremony hall not to let her in if she shows up? And maybe pay an extra fee to have more staff on patrol?
Are you sure you want to be so strict? I'm not sure I want to do that.
Well, her having a track record like ripping up your dress is just plain scary. So I don't think it's a bad idea to take more stringent measures. And thanks to all of my friends who helped me, we were able to organize the wedding at a very low price. We still have some money left over for the ceremony.
Yes, now you mention it, all of your friends gave us better deals than we could ever have imagined.
That's why I don't want to have any wedding day trouble, you know? It's just not about the two of us anymore. It's a culmination of all the efforts of our friends as well. So let's be prepared here.
Yeah, you're right. In that case, I'm going to call and explain the whole situation to the staff at the ceremony hall.
I'll take your new husband-to-be for myself now, thanks. Today's wedding will be canceled immediately due to the groom's absence. He's going to elope with me instead.
Jordan, what are you talking about?
You're already too late, even if you make a break for the waiting room. He's with me right now. He ran off together with me, still wearing his tuxedo.
Wait a minute, I'm not sure what you're talking about. This doesn't make any sense. How can you be with him right now?
I have to admit, I didn't expect your fiancé to be such a nice guy. A lawyer, in addition to being a highly educated graduate of a prestigious university? Are you kidding me? He has the perfect education and income, and above all, he has the most wonderful personality. He even said that when he gets married, his wife's happiness will be his first priority. He's the perfect man for me.
Thank you very much for speaking so kindly of him. But Dan is the man I'm going to marry. You can't possibly marry him.
No, you're too late. He's mine now. Dan is just not the right man for you. He's eloping and getting married to me today. Honestly, I've been planning to leave my hometown for a while. I don't want to stay in this town with my ex-boyfriend who left me for even a second longer. But it's more reassuring to have someone by my side than to go out alone. So I'll take Dan with me. Your precious fiancé took my hand without hesitation when I asked him to elope with me. Well, with the groom out of the picture, you're going to have to call off the wedding immediately.
I had my wedding last weekend.
Wait, what?
So if you're talking about Dan, then he's sitting right next to me. You two will not be getting married or running away. We got married last week and are already registered. You're too late. Dan is already my husband.
What's all this about a wedding last week? Please, there's no way Dan would be standing next to you right now. You're bluffing. I mean, he's sitting next to me in his tuxedo right now. He got in a taxi cab to elope with me, so he can't be with you at the same time.
So you met him once behind my back and you don't even remember his face. Even though wearing a tuxedo and with a different hairstyle from usual, you still have to compare the two, right?
I can't remember a face in one go. Besides, you're getting married today. Today in this very wedding hall. Dan was in the waiting room when I went to have a look.
Once again, we got married last Sunday, not today. You probably don't know this, but we had to reschedule the wedding quickly at the last minute.
What are you talking about?
Actually, Dan's grandma is going to be hospitalized, you see. And the hospital gave us the date of admission on the day of her wedding. So we had to move her wedding. We thought it would be nice to show his grandma the ceremony before she went into the hospital if possible. It just so happens that the venue had an opening a week before the hospitalization. So we were able to move it up a week early.
What? Is that right? You never told me.
Dan is very family-orientated. No, he's not just family-orientated, he cares for his friends deeply as well. That's why all of his friends changed their schedules for him. He asked them if we could move up the wedding date to accommodate his family circumstances, and they all obliged. Dan has a natural talent for making people like him.
You're kidding me! Wait a minute. So you really got married last week?
Yes, thanks to them, we had a successful wedding last week. And today, Dan's grandma is in the hospital today as planned, so we just went in to visit her. She was admitted to the emergency room because of a suspicious black shadow on the MRI scan. But the symptoms seemed to be a lot milder than expected. She's sitting up, smiling, saying seeing a beautiful ceremony last week must have cured her of her illness.
What's going on? This can't be happening. This isn't real. Then who am I trying to run off with? Who the hell did I get into this cab with?
I have no idea. But he's wearing a tuxedo, which means he's getting married today. He has nothing to do with us, though.
Oh no! What have I done?
Make sure you return him to the wedding hall and apologize fully.
What should I do? hall the other day is demanding alimony.
That sounds pretty serious.
I returned the groom immediately after our conversation and said that I had mistaken him for someone else. And now he wants me to pay for the entire wedding. He says it was ruined because of me. But I returned him just in time for the wedding to start. So how can he charge me the full amount of the wedding fee? It's not right, I tell you.
What did you think was going to happen? Do you have any idea how panicked the bride and the wedding party must have been when the groom was suddenly taken out of the room? I think it's fair for him to charge you the full amount. And even if the groom is back, it can't be all as it was. I mean, he tried to elope, right?
But it's clearly the groom's fault for not telling me I had the wrong guy. I mean, I wouldn't have taken him with me if I knew who he was.
What do you mean?
I just told him to come with me right now, and he took my hand and we left the venue. Then he turned around later and said he thought I was on staff. Apparently he couldn't speak because he didn't know what was going on. This is not my fault, though. It's the confusing groom's fault for not explaining his situation properly. What's wrong with him? He's an idiot.
You're the only one to blame in this situation, Jordan. You know for a fact that you ruined a total stranger's wedding. The only one to blame here is you. Just be an adult and pay for the wedding.
But that's impossible. The wedding cost $50,000. It's impossible for me to pay for it all by myself. So you have to help me pay for it, okay, Lena?
What? You must be joking. You got yourself into this and you tried to run away with my husband on our wedding day. Why on earth should I help you?
You're my childhood friend, so it's only natural that you help me, and anyway, you are the one who is the worst offender here when you think about it. It's your fault for not calling off the wedding when I asked you to. So it's you who has to pay this fee for me.
Don't be ridiculous. Are you crazy or what? Listen to what you're saying.
This has nothing to do with me, okay? That's why I'm getting out of this town. I can't stay in this hillbilly waterhole a minute longer. I'm gonna leave this place even if I have to go alone. I'll find somewhere where people have some common sense. You handle all the alimony. You're the one at fault for all of this anyway. I don't care about anything anymore, and I won't have anything to do with you even if you come after me crying and begging.
You really think getting out of this mess is going to be that easy? You're just going to skip town and avoid all responsibility? Well, I'm not going to let you just walk away and be done with it, Jordan. It's time for you to grow up and face the music. First of all, make sure you give back everything you kept from my Rob.
Huh? Your friend? What do you mean? Wait a minute, who is this?
If you really want to leave town and go somewhere else, then that's up to you. It is your life. But first, you need to deal with all the problems that you've caused before you can go.
What's going on? Who are you?
It's been a while, hasn't it? I'm Dan, who married Lena the other day. When I heard that you were planning on leaving town, I rushed to switch places with Lena and talk to you. You see, you still haven't returned anything to Rob, have you?
What the hell do you want with me? What are you talking about anyway? Returning something to Rob? You mean my ex-boyfriend? I have no idea what you mean. Rob and I are history and have been for months now.
Don't play dumb. You know exactly what I'm talking about, don't you, Jordan? He's been contacting you about this for months after all. You still haven't returned the engagement ring to your ex, even though the engagement was called off. And you haven't returned any of the wedding presents his family bought the two of you either, have you? I think it is a terrible idea to try and leave town under these circumstances. You can't just run away from your problems that easily.
What? Hold on a minute. This is a private issue between me and Rob. How do you know about it?
As a matter of fact, I'm good friends with your ex-boyfriend. We were classmates in middle school, and we still go out and get drinks with each other on the regular.
Huh? Is that right?
So the other day, when he and I were having a drink together, he told me about his crazy ex-girlfriend. He said he was still having trouble getting the ring and the betrothal presents back from you. The thing is, I can't leave my friends alone when I see them in trouble. So I'm sorry to be so intrusive. I know I'm just an outsider to the situation, but could you give it all back to him? He's my friend. I don't want to see him having a tough time anymore.
What are you thinking, sticking your nose into my business? This has nothing to do with you. Butt out before you get hurt, moron. I don't care if you two are friends or whatever. You're not involved in this. I sold the engagement ring, and the money and the wedding gifts are mine. I'm not going to give them back because I have to use the money to skip town. If Rob didn't want me to keep this stuff, then he shouldn't have broken up with me. It's his fault.
I see. So that's how it is.
Yep, that's how it is.
And you're not going to give that stuff back even though I'm asking nicely?
If I wanted to pay you back, I would have done so by now. I bet you want to look good in front of your friends and your wife, but there's no point in asking me about this. I'm not giving you any money. Not a single cent.
No choice then. I guess next, I'll be Rob's lawyer and demand the money back on his behalf, through the legal system. We can start going through the formalities right away.
What? You can't do that.
Oh, yes, I can. You know my job. I told you all about it before, right? I mean, you went through all those questions like we were in a job interview the last time we met. You remember what I had to say, don't you? I work as a lawyer at a big law firm, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes to help my friends. So if you refuse this personal request, then you leave me no choice and we'll move on to the next phase. The next step is for me, as an attorney, to make a formal request for a refund.
But that's not fair. You can't do that to me.
I can and I will. In fact, it's literally my job description.
This is ridiculous. It's not fair to bring state power into this. It's a personal issue. There's no need to blow things out of proportion like this. You're just trying to show off and look cool for your new wife.
I'm not gonna let up no matter what you say. I work hard for my clients. That's what I do, especially when those clients are people I go way back with. So, you live at home now, am I correct? So all the bills and stuff will be sent to your parents' house, if that's okay?
What? Of course it's not okay.
I'm sure your family will find out when the letters start coming from a law firm with your name on them. Then you'd probably have to leave your hometown. In fact, I don't know if you'll ever be able to come back. Still think it's a good idea not to return anything?
No, it's not okay. Don't let them know they have nothing to do with it. I've already caused my mom and dad a lot of trouble by abandoning my engagement to Rob. They'll kill me if they find out about all the other stuff.
Then you know what you have to do, don't you, Jordan? Pay what you owe Rob. The ring, the presents. If you can't return the actual item, then an equivalent sum of the money will do. Only then can you leave your hometown. This is what you should have done in the first place. You only have yourself to blame.
Huh? Are you serious about this? How am I going to afford any of this?
You should have thought about it when you decided not to return any of that stuff at the beginning. Anyway, please pay him as soon as possible. I'll be waiting to hear from Rob. If the payment is not received by tomorrow in full, you know what will happen. I will send the billing documents to your parents' house immediately.
Okay, I'll pay him. Tomorrow, right? I'll figure something out by then and I'll pay it. So please, I'm begging you, just don't let my parents know about this. Anything but that.
After that, Jordan refunded all the money for the engagement ring and the wedding gifts to her ex-fiancé Rob in one lump sum. He was thrilled and took Dan out for a drink to celebrate the victory. Dan didn't have to send the letter to Jordan's parents. However, soon her parents caught her going in and out of consumer loans, and she had to reveal everything she'd been hiding about the wedding ceremony fiasco and what she'd done to Rob. As a result, she was disowned by her parents. She was kicked out of the house and forced to leave the city alone with no money. I don't know what she's doing now, but I did hear a rumor that she's working both a day job and a part-time job to pay off all her debts. As for me, I'm living happily with my husband Dan. Things have been so much less stressful since I cut Jordan out of my life. I'm so thankful my husband Dan has so many friends and is such a good person. He often says being a lawyer is my life's calling. Thanks to him, we're surrounded by wonderful, supportive friends. He's a consultant to many people and works very hard every day. I'm looking forward to our new life together. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video and want to see more like it, please consider subscribing to the channel.
Hey Josh, is it true? Did your wife really die?
Oh, yes. How did you hear?
Greg told me he attended the funeral. Man, I was shocked.
So, the news is really spreading that fast, huh? I wanted to have a quiet service for Rachel.
Why wasn't I invited to the funeral anyways? I feel left out.
What are you talking about? It's not like we're all that close anymore. What business would you have at the funeral?
Oh, don't be like that. The two of us are buddies, right? We go way back.
Rachel's death was so sudden and unexpected. I only called her close friends and family to the service. It wasn't exactly a public event.
Rachel and I were also good friends in university, though. Did you forget about that?
Thomas, I'm sorry that you feel left out, but I couldn't invite everyone who's ever met Rachel to the service. It was a very small gathering.
Alright, fine. But you could have at least contacted me with the news. This is a big deal, you know.
Excuse me? I've got enough on my plate right now anyways with the funeral proceedings and paperwork. I'm not exactly in the headspace to be texting everyone in my contact list about the whole ordeal.
Not even a letter? Or a Facebook post? Everyone is dying to know what happened.
If you must know, she died in a car accident. Her car hit a guardrail off a cliffside.
Yikes, that's certainly a flashy way to go. By chance, did she say anything to you before she left that night?
What are you talking about?
Did Rachel say anything to you before she left? Like about anyone else or money or something?
Nothing really. Why do you ask, Thomas?
Oh, nothing. I was just curious, that's all. That's a relief.
What do you mean by that? And what's up with your attitude?
You've got to elaborate a bit here. I'm not sure what you're referring to.
I mean, my wife just died and you're over here pouting about not being invited to the party. Why do you sound so happy about this whole thing?
Of course not! This is how I process grief. Don't be ridiculous.
Can you cut it out already? This is no time to be joking around.
What's gotten you so on edge? Loosen up a bit, Josh. I mean, you've got to admit that this whole situation is kind of funny, right?
What about this is funny in any way? You have a wife too, don't you? How would you feel if the most important person in your life was suddenly ripped away from you?
It's not like the two of you had a good relationship anyways. Maybe you should consider this a chance to start fresh and find love.
What do you know about my relationship with Rachel?
Obviously, you're grieving right now. But once you get over it, I think you'll be relieved to be out of a dead-end relationship. Right?
Are you insane? Why would you say such a horrible thing? Rachel and I may not have been on the best terms before her passing, but every relationship has its ups and downs. I was still in love with her and happy to have her as my wife. Who told you that we were having marital issues anyway?
Oh, I just have a sense for these sorts of things. Don't think too much about it. So, you said she flew over a guardrail, yeah?
She was driving at night and the cliffside wasn't clearly marked. She didn't see the sudden turn and hit the railing at full speed.
Did the car fall over the cliff? Or was she ejected out of the front like a baby bird learning how to fly?
This is no laughing matter. Have a little more respect, will you?
Come on, loosen up about it. Jokes are a good way to process loss after all. You've got to find the humor in this whole thing.
Maybe that works for you, but let me grieve in my own way. I refuse to listen to you disrespect Rachel. It's simply not funny. My wife is dead. What about that can't you get through your head? Be a little more sensitive about it, won't you?
I get it, fine. All I'm trying to do is cheer up my best friend. You don't gotta get all worked up over it. Sheesh.
You're no friend of mine. We were in one class together. Don't pretend like you know me or anything about my wife.
Don't be like that. You're my favorite buddy in that whole class. I wouldn't have passed if I didn't copy off all your tests.
You cheated using my tests. You could have gotten both of us in massive trouble. Fine, whatever. Anyways, that doesn't make us friends or buddies or anything. I don't know you, Thomas.
You were such a stick in the mud back then. I still remember how panicked you got when I stole your glasses that one time.
You're the one who stole my glasses. What's wrong with you? I had migraines for a month without those.
You didn't know? Whoopsie. I think I still got them laying around somewhere here if you want them back now.
You have always been more than a thorn than any sort of friend of mine. It's bold of you to assume you'd be invited to Rachel's funeral in the first place.
Me? No. I was just a class clown. That's all. Plus, you're such an easy target. It's hard not to pick on you a little bit.
You know what, Thomas? I don't have time to reminisce with you about your sick jokes. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't contact me again.
Is that any way to speak to a friend? I was just trying to cheer you up, that's all. Let's chat later when you've brightened up a little. See ya, Josh!
My name is Josh Lewis. I'm a 29-year-old business contractor. Until last week, I was living a calm and simple life with my wife, Rachel. We dated in university before deciding to get married after graduation. We celebrated our 6th anniversary a month before her death. The year before her passing, Rachel and I grew apart somewhat. It always seemed like she had something on her mind and was just out of my reach. We stopped talking almost altogether, and she started going out at night without telling me. I felt powerless to stop her. I thought I would give her space and we'd eventually find each other again. But she was taken from me before we could reconcile. I mourn the loss of my wife, and I regret not having told her how much I loved her before she took the car that night. I wish I had a chance to talk to her one-on-one just one more time. I can't help but feel responsible for pushing her away. It's hard to move on when there are still words unsaid. I was in the process of filling Rachel's death certificate when Thomas contacted me out of the blue. Something didn't sit right with me about his nonchalant attitude, and also his knowledge about the accident. Due to his suspicious behavior, I contacted the police and asked them to investigate the scene of the accident. What we discovered there changed my perspective of my wife and altered the course of my life. Thomas, this is Josh. I have some questions for you regarding Rachel's accident.
Oh yeah? What about it? Are you playing detective or something?
Something that you told me earlier didn't sit right with me. How did you know that Rachel left the house at night? Furthermore, why were you aware of the issues Rachel and I were having in our relationship?
Didn't I tell you before? I've got a knack for this sort of thing.
To be frank, I don't believe you. I think you're more involved with Rachel's death than you say. The truth will come out eventually, you know. Just admit to it already.
Well, I wasn't exactly a bystander, if that's what you're getting at. But it's not like I killed her.
A bystander? What's that supposed to mean? What business did you have with my wife?
Relax, it's nothing sketchy. I just lent her some money. $7,000 to be exact.
What? Why did Rachel need all that money? How did you get in touch with her in the first place?
She told me that she wanted to keep it a secret from you, so I didn't mention it before. Now that she's dead, there's no use in hiding things, I guess.
Okay, so you lent Rachel a large sum of money. Money that she wanted to hide from me. Did she tell you why?
She seemed to be in some sort of trouble. I didn't dig too much into the details.
That doesn't make any sense to me. The two of us were pretty well off financially. She shouldn't have been hurting for money.
Well, since the two of you weren't all that close, it wouldn't have been difficult for her to hide stuff like that from you. I lent her the money and expected back at some point too. Since you were her husband and all, you'll pay me back, right?
Do you have any proof of this transaction? A receipt or something?
Nah, I trusted her to keep her word and pay me back. I didn't want her to think I didn't trust her with the cash, you know?
So what you're saying is that you expect me to pay you back for a deal you made with my dead wife and you have no proof to back up your claim.
It's not like I was giving away money for charity. Of course I expect to be paid back. Don't you trust me?
To be completely honest, Thomas, I don't believe you. And I don't owe you anything.
Rachel was the one who owed me the money, and now that she's gone, that responsibility falls to you. Sorry, I don't make the rules.
First you mock Rachel's death. Now you're demanding $7,000 to pay back a loan you can't prove existed. You've got some nerve.
Come on, you said it yourself. It's not like you're hurting for cash. You could pay me back in full right now, couldn't you?
How much do you know about my finances? Please elaborate.
Well, you've got a good job and all. I just figured you were making at least 6 figures.
Did you hear that from Rachel? How do you know where I work?
Well, it's a long story. I don't want to bore you with the details.
Were you really that close with her? It seems like the two of you talked about a lot of things.
I told you it's not like that, didn't I? Are you trying to pin something on me?
All I'm looking for is answers. And it seems that you knew a lot more about my late wife than you're letting on to.
Whatever, Josh. I'm all worked up now. I don't care if you believe me or not. If you don't return my money right now, we're gonna have an issue.
Right now? Are you insane? There's no way I'm forking over $7,000.
Yes, you are. Just transfer the money into my account. You don't want this to become a problem, do you?
I'm busy today, Thomas. I don't have time for this.
It's in your best interest to keep quiet and pay up now. I hope you understand what that means.
Are you trying to threaten me?
Listen, Josh. I really did want to be your friend, but now that money is involved, things are a bit more complicated. If you're really that busy, I'll wait until tomorrow. You've got 24 hours from now to get me the cash. Got it? If you don't have the money in by then, I'm going to have to get others involved. You wouldn't want that, would you? Hey! Josh! What's up? Where's my money? You're late.
I have no intention of paying a man who was involved in my wife's death.
Don't start pinning crimes on me now. I need that money back stat. You're putting me in a difficult position now.
Why? What could you possibly need $7,000 for so suddenly?
Something that doesn't involve you. Stay out of it. Since you're late on the payment, I'm doubling the amount. $40,000. If you don't want it to triple, you better pay up now.
You'd threaten and extort a man who just lost his wife. Have you no shame?
Don't start begging for pity now. I don't care what you're dealing with. My money is a separate issue entirely.
I told you I was busy, didn't I? I've been spending the past few days working closely with police investigators. Since her death was unnatural, we ordered an autopsy on Rachel's body.
What about it?
Her body was in pretty bad shape after the crash. Despite that, one thing was clear. Rachel was pregnant.
Yikes, what a shame. 2 lives were taken at the same time. Who would have imagined?
She was already in her second trimester, which means she was concealing the pregnancy from me for a few months.
It was your kid, wasn't it? Why would she try to hide it from you?
It wasn't my kid, Thomas. I'm infertile. I think you already know where I'm going with this.
Oh, so Rachel cheated on you? I knew the two of you had issues, but ouch. Bet it hurts to find out this way.
Oh, shut it. It was your kid. Don't pretend like you didn't already know.
Huh?
I already know the extent of your involvement with her. There's no point in hiding it now.
You've got some nerve, Josh. First you lie about paying me back, and now you're accusing me of cheating with your dead wife. Where's your proof? That could have been anyone's kid. You certainly didn't know where Rachel was going or who she was hanging out with in the prior months, right?
What am I going to do? I just took a test. I'm pregnant.
What are you going on about now?
You're the only man I've been with in the past year, so it's 100% yours.
What's this? What are you talking about?
We were able to get access to Rachel's phone. Thankfully, it was still in working condition. These are messages she sent to you. Do you care to explain what's going on here?
Maybe it was someone else with the same name. You can't prove anything from those messages.
You can't run away from the truth, Thomas. We know all about your relationship with Rachel. Every message the two of you have exchanged is here on record in her phone.
Every message?
It disgusts me to read these exchanges, but I have to know the truth. I deserve to know what went down between the two of you. If you wouldn't have reached out in the first place, I never would have been suspicious of your intentions, you know? So, thank you for being so bad at covering your own tracks. Now I can learn the whole truth about my wife and her death.
About those messages. How many have you read exactly?
All of them. The police have seen them too. It's clear to all of us now that your actions led up to Rachel's death.
I was only joking with her. I didn't expect her to actually do anything so stupid.
If my wife finds out about this, my life is over. Get out of my hair, you hag. Go do everyone a favor and kill yourself.
I didn't really mean it. I was just upset, that's all. I mean, we were just friends with benefits. I never wanted a baby with her or anything. I didn't want to lose my wife or my job or anything over this. You'd do the same if you were in my position, right?
I knew something was wrong when I heard she was in a car accident. She was always a very careful and competent driver. Rachel drove over that cliff on purpose. She killed herself because of your cruel words.
Just because I said something nasty to her doesn't mean I'm responsible for her death. Maybe she did it because you weren't there for her. Anyways, you can't prove that it was a suicide anyways. She was driving on a notoriously dangerous road.
I think we both know the truth. You're the one who forced her into a corner and told her the only way out was to take her own life. You never lent her any money in the first place. You were just trying to fabricate a scenario to cover your own back.
So maybe I didn't lend her any money, but I still need some cash fast. And you've got tons of extra money to throw around, right? Anyways, Rachel's the one who cheated on you in the first place. She reached out to me, not the other way around. This is her own fault.
The two of us could have worked through her infidelity in couples counseling. Now that you've taken her from me, there's no going back. Her life was precious, no matter what she did in the months leading up to her death.
Stop acting so high and mighty. Do you think you're better than me? Would you have acted any differently if the two of us were in opposite positions right now?
I would never wish death on anyone. The fact that you thought that was a normal response goes to show how demented you are.
Fine. Call me whatever you want to. Just give me one thing, okay? Please don't let my wife know about all of this.
Are you being serious right now?
Yeah, well, turns out one of my other girlfriends is friends with my wife and the whole thing got leaked. We nearly got a divorce, but I told her I'd pay her $10,000 to make up for it if we stayed together.
So you tried to extort money out of me to bribe your wife into staying with you?
If she hears that I cheated again and got the other girl pregnant, she'll leave me for sure. I mean, you know how painful it is to lose your wife. You wouldn't want me to go through the same suffering, right?
My wife's death and your wife divorcing you are in no way the same. How dare you equate the two of them? Your wife's going to find out about all this sooner or later when the police come to arrest you.
The police are coming after me. Why? All I did was send a text message. How is this my fault?
Have you heard of coerced suicide before? Your messages to Rachel can be used in court to find you responsible for her death.
What sort of crap is that? She's the one who listened and took her own life. Why should I be held responsible for someone else's actions?
Save your excuses for your day in court. A judge and jury can decide for you if you're really all that innocent. Even if you were not directly involved in the action leading up to her death, your instructions played a role in her decision-making process. Your actions can be considered manslaughter, you know. If found guilty, you're going to be locked up for a long time.
No way. There's no way this is happening. Manslaughter. But I didn't do anything.
What do you mean? You're the one who got her pregnant. You're the one who told her to die. Take some responsibility for your own actions already. You're a coward and a disgrace.
Leave me alone already. Can't we just let this go? Why'd you have to go and get the police involved?
You still don't understand the gravity of your actions, do you? Because of your actions, 2 people lost their lives. It wasn't just Rachel, you know. It was the baby, too.
It wasn't born yet. It couldn't have felt any pain or anything.
That's not the problem here.
Listen to me. I didn't intend on any of this happening. I said some stupid things and it's too late to take them back now, but I never thought she'd actually do it.
I told you before that I am infertile, right? But the truth is, I've always desperately wanted a child of my own. I wanted to raise a family of my own with Rachel. I was considering asking her if we could find a donor. I don't care whose kid it was. I could have raised it as my own. I would have treated it as my own child.
Look, I understand that you're upset. But please, there's no changing what happened now.
You could never understand what I'm going through. You will never be able to comprehend the pain I'm in.
You stay together with a woman who cheated on you and raised the child as your own? Don't joke around. There's no way you'd be okay with that.
You and I are not the same, Thomas. Don't assume that I would be as cruel as you. I will never forgive you. I will not rest until you've been locked away in prison where you belong. You're a murderer.
I'm not. I didn't kill her. I didn't mean for any of this to happen.
Can you not even apologize? All you care about is yourself. You couldn't care less about Rachel's feelings or the baby.
Fine, I'm sorry. I'm sorry things turned out like this. But you can't pin this all on me.
Go reflect on your actions in a prison cell for a few years and maybe one day you'll realize the weight of your actions. No matter what you say to legitimize your actions, Rachel's blood is on your hands. I hope you understand that.
I said I was sorry. I regret this whole thing. I do. Please, just tell the police I'm innocent.
There's no point in continuing to argue with someone who sees no logic. If you have anything more to say, talk to your lawyer.
I really, really regret it. I shouldn't have gotten with Rachel in the first place. Forgive me.
None of this would have happened if you didn't send Rachel those horrible messages. If you didn't agree to meet her in the first place. You knew it was wrong, but you did it anyways. Now it's time for you to face the consequences of your own actions.
I've really messed up this time. Help. Please. You've got to help me out. Just because Rachel and the baby lost their lives doesn't mean you have to ruin mine in return. Come on, Josh. Help me out here.
After that, Thomas was arrested on charges of coerced suicide based on my report and the evidence we found on Rachel's phone. He was also charged with fraud for trying to extort money out of me. He was found guilty on both charges and sent to prison for the next 20 years. The jury was especially harsh in this case due to Rachel's pregnancy. His wife was able to divorce him before he was sentenced and has changed her name to avoid affiliation with him and his crimes. I would be lying if I said I wasn't at all upset by Rachel's cheating. But there's nothing I can do now to change the past. Maybe I should have done more to maintain our relationship in the first place. Maybe I should have reached out that night and stopped her from taking the car. I've been working through these complicated feelings in therapy. It has taken a lot of time and work, but I'm finally starting to feel like myself again. I took some time off from work to travel and have been focusing on finding the beauty in life. Things will never be normal again, but I'm trying my best to live and grow despite the loss. I will never forget about the time I spent with my late wife, nor will I forget about Thomas's actions or the cheating. But I'm finally ready to let that go and restart my life. 2 years after Rachel's death, I started putting myself out there and meeting people again. I hope to find someone to spend the rest of my life with.
Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please don't forget to hit that like button and leave a comment below. Subscribe so that you never miss a new video. See you in the next one.